Evening, everyone. Okay, so handing off to Sunshine and Sasquatch. Since this is your property and this is the evidence you've noticed, please walk me through this.
Yeah, so this is on a path that goes to our field where you can see the goats off there too. But they, like I said, there's activity all over the place.
Okay.
But you can see how they can come up in here.
Right.
And this tree.
Yeah, it's
pretty
got
good
some
shade.
Nice cover.
Yeah.
So you think they're coming in this area at night?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, we've got the wood shed. There's places that they can obviously sit. My mom's got a stone bench here.
Okay, so what brought your attention to this thing here?
The fact that there's holes here. This wasn't really here before.
How long do you think this has been here?
I mean, I don't really come to this often. The goats are usually all over this place. But I've noticed that it's clearly dug out, which we don't have any dogs. Like, I mean, my uncle's dog's here, but he doesn't come out here to do that.
Right.
He's not let loose enough to do that. And then the goats don't dig.
Right. So something dug this.
So something dug it out. And because we have this root that is like basically like a dead root, you can see how they've been trying to get up underneath there. So there could be bugs, grubs, things that they would eat, little small protein snacks.
But what else have you found in this area that makes you peculiarly think that there's something peculiar going on here? Yeah, this is pretty peculiar.
Well, it looks like something small could have been sat in there.
Potentially, yeah.
You know, like even a baby, or they could have put something that was for collecting in, because it looks like they've been collecting the moss because it's like torn all off. This tree was once covered.
Oh, okay. So they've been taking moss off the tree.
So, yeah. Or they could be bringing branches and tearing it down.
Yeah, I can see where they've been removing it. Okay, so what else did you want to...
Well, not because you can see it all over the place here. I mean, there's moss, and it's even got like some like I mean, there's feather, there's
all kinds of stuff in it.
It looks like dryer lint, because we do have, you know.
And you said they're little foraging evidence here.
We have
you found
as water straw.
Oh, you found a water straw.
Hollow.
Here, let's turn around and... Oh yeah, it's very definitely hollow. Awesome, okay.
And then we have the little bones,
right.
Small critters. But we also have an herb that's grown in here. There's some of it right here. This is lemon verbena. It's very cooling. It's an astringent, it's antibacterial. It's very cooling effect.
Does it get collected from here?
I feel like it does. We have a big patch of it that's over here.
Oh, okay.
That I can see how some of it's been ripped up actually by the root, because there was a lot more of them. You can see evidence of it being uprooted. Right. And another thing too is we don't do random things like these.
So you got
this
stick stuck in your ground.
That's in there.
Okay.
That is in there.
and this little tree is right next to the structure that you have with your
there's structures up there, and then there's like
the structures down below. Yeah. And then you said you've got more odd activity that occurs in your woodshed.
We have, because there's clay around here.
Yeah.
You can see they've been digging around, getting the clay. That's chickens doing that. But this was on the back porch. This is on the back porch. There's a lot of tool things like these that I got from a family member of mine that was getting rid of a bunch of stuff. And I'm going to leave it here for them. They're using it.
So they keep taking tools.
And honestly, I'm totally fine with it. If they have use for it, they can use it.
Well, it's not uncommon. People have reported that with other, when they're close.
Don't take these, because we need those.
They'll probably leave those alone. So what?
So these sticks, we didn't do these.
Oh, the ones that are stuck here in the ground?
They're just,
oh my.
And then here.
And they're not driven in the ground either.
They're just, I mean, that's in there.
Okay.
But still, like, And then we have the plank that was not set up the way that it is. This strip of bark just.
Oh, yeah, and you were talking about.
And it's got a broken
bark removal that just happened in a little
snap branch, and it's just like it's just been stripped off.
And wow, okay.
As you can see.
And then these planks have moved on themselves to go up the hillside.
Like a little ramp.
Like a little bridge.
Which is totally fine. I mean, it's ingenuity. It's totally cool to me. You know, these are mind-boggling things, because most people are like, I don't know how this can happen. They're just as sentient
and you
as
got
we are,
another...
even more intelligent. And they come back. I mean, look. You come back in here.
You got one that sits back here, huh?
Yeah.
Do you ever hear them like knock from this area or rattle that piece
I
of tin?
haven't, but I have my roommates, my uncles have heard things out here, and they've let me know. And
Okay.
you know, I've heard like maybe like a little bit of like a grunt.
Okay.
But I mean, actually, one of the things that probably was a couple nights ago because my cat was kind of terrified. He came crawling in the window and looking behind him like, "What's going on, Mom?" So it could have spooked him out of the woods or something, but.
So
you know, just coming down to forage and it scared him, but...
Right. So you have a lot of nighttime activity.
Oh,
then.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like activity kind of starts, like, really, like, once we put the goats away and kind of start winding down, like, when we're not going out anymore, like, we're just going out on the back porch to, like, smoke a cigarette or something.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of starts. But I feel like they do more of, like, they start from the bottom and make their way up.
Okay.
Like, they've been making their way down towards the lake during, like, the day, like, morning hours and spend their time down there. But then when they're coming back...
They're coming through here.
And they patrol, because we have had a couple cougars in the area, and our neighbors up there lost their goats.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
so they'd come down, and it was, like, literally they were down here telling us as their goats were being eaten. So I feel like... And we have peacocks out here. And they're...
Nothing gets disturbed here.
Yeah. Like, ever since... I want to say... kind of like since we got the peacocks when they do their little wah thing, like their loud calls that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Our main one, Blue, which he's over here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's the one I did the
yes.
fan
he does
display.
really good call and response.
Yes,
he really does.
I've noticed.
And he's really spot on. Somebody cracks a joke, he'll laugh.
So he warns a lot about this end of your property?
And I have noticed that when he does a lot of sound offs, sometimes it's like 2, 3 in the morning.
Well, and this is where our structures were. It was down here off this end here.
Our peacocks are nesting up in here.
Oh, so your peacocks are nesting
our
there.
male likes to come down in here because he perches in one of their sitting trees, I've noticed. He actually perches there because he can see the whole chicken yard, where the goats are at, and this whole field here.
You were saying there he goes.
There you go, Blue. Thank you.
And you were saying the sitting tree is this, you said it was a big tree that's old and...
It's literally right behind. That. So you've got the old male goat pen that's in the back, and then the sewing cord in the barn. It's literally that tree that goes.
So is this tree right here that's got that big loop branch?
Yeah, you can see the loop branch, and it's a little old.
And you said a lot of that tree is broken and twisted and doesn't look right.
Yeah, there's a lot of bark stripped off it.
Oh yeah.
I found cedar bark in the garden down there.
And that's
on the fence, where like an area where the fence looks like it was like pushed down, so they can kind of like hop over for me.
Oh, do we want to walk?
And there's a cedar. Yeah, there's a cedar tree that is literally right. That tree is a cedar tree, and we've noticed that the bark stripped off. It has to be that bark that's in there.
Do you want me to walk down with you? You want to show us that bent fence of yours going into your garden?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, because this is not bent like a deer going over it.
All this right here is all lemon verbena.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
And I make...
oh, yeah, I see some of it has been pulled up.
Yeah, I make salves with that.
Okay, let me...
There's more growing down here, so it's...
Sorry about that, got your rear end in the shot.
Up.
Oh, there go your goats.
You got
Hi, Rooster, how you doing?
Sale. That's Copper. You got Red, Raven, Ginger, and I got Speckles down there.
Okay, so when did you notice this damage on your... How long do you think it's been here?
It's been here for a minute, because I never really bothered to look.
You just finally noticed it?
I've just been, like, suddenly curious and wanted to look. And it looks... We've also noticed it looked like something had been shoved down in here.
Right, and you said you keep finding, like, holes punched in the ground.
There that they could have used for that, but right here, it looks, you know... This was a while back.
Wow, that is really severely bent.
Yeah, and our goats don't do that.
No kidding.
They can't do that. They can't get up there to do that.
And that's gotta be what,
you pan in on the rhubarb over here.
Oh.
It was not like that before. It's been visibly bent over.
So.
And we have put a pin around it, so when we put the goats in here to mow down the tall grass.
Yeah, they can't get to the rhubarb.
They can't get to the rhubarb.
So something has reached over the top of that.
Something crawled over here. And I don't know if it's still on the ground. Oh yeah,
there's
a strip of cedar.
cedar piece.
Right there.
Okay. Oh, and this thing just paused out on me. Oh.
Or actually, well, it could have well, yeah, no, that is the cedar, yeah.
Yeah, that's a cedar strip. So you think it's this tree
It's the big cedar
right
tree right
there.
directly there, yeah.
All these.
Because our peacock likes to get on the one that kind of juts down right there.
Up here in the top where it saddles out a bit?
Yeah. And to be honest,
okay.
because, I mean, it's not very well structured up there. The floor is like shitty. You can see the tarps and whatnot. The goat pens where that dog igloo is. We have the mail over there in that shed. So I wouldn't be surprised. And I was checking over there earlier today to see if I could see anything that was disturbed in there, because they could easily hop right over the fence and go in there and hang out and chill and sleep. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. They could totally do that.
Okay. So
But I wouldn't be surprised if some of them at one point in time have been up in there chilling and hanging out.
Okay,
and,
up at the top of your barn.
My uncle and his best friend, who did some work on it at one point, was trying to help with the electrical, had been staying in there, not last summer, but the summer before that. Or it was a little bit last summer, actually, I want to say.
So they were staying in the upper part of your...
Yeah, they were staying in the loft area.
Okay, and they had some disturbance?
They said that there were signs of what seemed to be like somebody either squatting up there, but they couldn't really tell because there was no extra clothing or anything like that, but it looked like something had been nesting up there.
Really?
At one point, but there really wasn't much left of it. So, I mean, there's like some rags that were shredded. There was like freaking like leaf.
Oh, so
and materials that have been collected from in the barn at one point, nested together. But it was like kind of half fucked up a little bit. And like rats and mice or whatever and other animals.
Right, so it was old.
Like it was old. And I think the way they said it being old was like it had to have been around the time the mom had bought the property and started moving onto it that they moved out.
Oh,
so it could very well have been just a dirty old tweaker. Who knows? But yeah, I think it most likely was a Bigfoot or something of origin.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so much wooded area that I haven't even been to yet.
Right. And you've got, what, 17
acres
here?
There's a natural spring as the one that you've seen. Plus there's a well up the hill.
Yeah. And you said there's a structure up here.
Yeah, there's a structure up there. There's a trail that goes up there. And there's actually one day while I've been up there that our goats had started going up there. And then they just hightailed it down here to the corner. And we're all staring up at it.
Oh, so you had some sort of predator.
And then several hours later, we went to go check on them or something like that. I think it was the next day. It was next morning. We didn't have to work, and so we went out to go look at the goats. And Maury had her babies. Right. And so we think it was around the time that she was either having her babies, and so if something chased her down, so she wouldn't have them out there.
Or maybe it was just one of I mean, you do have bear and cougar here.
Then that's one. It was around the time that the cougar was, so that's what I was thinking. But as I'm thinking, it could have very well been that she was going into labor and something could have been a complication. And so they says, no, you're going to go to the barn where the people are.
Well, and she's the one that you have in the little hooch right now because she's having problems having birth, right?
No. So she already the one that ran down earlier was just screaming like she was, bloody murder. To go get her babies.
Okay,
gotcha. That's Mari. Yeah, she's one of the good moms. So we've got Alice, May, and Mari that are our Kiko goats, and they're just really hardy mountain goats.
Gotcha.
And they're really good moms.
So you said you heard knocking up here on this back ridge line?
Yes, there's been knocking. There has been something walking around. We've at times heard something walking around out there.
Okay. I see there's another marker tree up there that's broken off.
Oh yeah, there are several things up there that I hadn't even noticed, but when you actually get out and look and are looking for it, you will notice it. But
right, okay.
Most of the time my brain just bypassed it without even thinking.
Yeah.
And I hear ya. Now that I'm actually aware of what I'm looking at and whatnot, I'm oh yeah, I see signs everywhere. Definitely all up in this thicket here.
Okay.
And
that's,
it's more dense.
Right.
When it gets closer to where we're at, it's more dense in this area. And then down right in this spot.
Back behind.
Nothing but blackberry bushes, trees,
so everything back here and below the barn is all.
So between the road and in this spot here is just nothing but trees and brush and vegetation as is up in this area. And then
Okay.
it's clear cut up there because that's where a lot of it's been logged
Right.
for firewood and whatnot. Not just ours, but the neighbors as well.
So they're feeling a little stressed.
I feel like
too.
that could be it too because it's been logged in the last year. So
Oh, that would
they
deplete
had
their
hella
food
logging,
sources
and
for
there was
sure.
a big old log truck out here, like the claw thing,
Mm-hmm.
parked out here where that motorhome is with the truck now.
Did you have any disturbance around that when it was here?
I don't know, to be honest, because
Okay.
I
So you're really interested in documenting what's on
yes,
this property.
and actually, come to think of it, probably should go look to see if there's any prints out there because it's just muddy and tore up there. And there's a ravine in there that, yeah, we used to go in and go potty because there was no water and whatnot, and it was secluded. And we just go
Right,
play
and that
our
was when
ass,
you
know?
first got here, and you
Yeah.
guys were trying to recoup this land.
One thing,